everyone, this is Nim Golkar and you're watching the next episode of my motivational series, Munchies for the Mind. Today I'm going to talk about feeling as though you're not good enough. Waking up in the morning and feeling like a failure, or feeling as though you're not quite ready to take on that new big challenge that's staring you in the face. Firstly, I want to tell you that this feeling is a human, universal emotion, one that most people go through at different points in their lives. Even the most successful people battle with this internalized message of feeling like a failure. So how does one tackle this feeling? Well, what I'm about to tell you might sound a bit unkind and cruel, but it must be said. And it's also a strategy that I taught myself several years ago, and it works really well for me each time. You see, when we constantly think defeatist thoughts, or we think that we're not good enough or not smart enough, it is a form of narcissism or obsession with the self. And I think that's where the main problem lies. We are so busy channeling our thoughts and energies into thinking why we're miserable, why we're not in control, why we are defeated, that the spotlight is focused on the self instead of shining that spotlight outwards. And this constant obsession with what is lacking in us actually increases that feeling of not being good enough. So I'll give you a personal example of how I overcame this feeling of not being in control. Many months ago, I came up with the idea of starting a motivational video series. And you know what's the first idea that struck me? You're right. I thought, I'm not good enough. I thought, well, why would anyone want to listen to what I have to say? I haven't proved myself enough yet. And so I sat on the idea for a long time, hesitated, did nothing about it. And one fine morning, I woke up and asked myself, instead of constantly worrying about what's lacking in me, what if I did something productive instead? And so I wrote on a piece of paper, if I knew for certain that I would not fail, what's the first productive and positive thing I would do straight away? And the answer came to me in a jiffy. What I would do was come up with a title for this series and create some interesting content for the first recording. And for the next 60 minutes, I put aside any defeatist thoughts of not being good enough and did that productive thing I had come up with. And that's how Munchies for the Mind was born. So next time you think you are not good enough, remind yourself that it is a form of narcissism. And instead, think